Q50, I love they part of the season. Let these niggas have it.
Yo. Wow, mom, you're on a 175-day streak. That is insane. How? That's insane. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream, man. Second stream in the day. It's 1 p.m. I'm still live. Second stream. I got off, took a nap, drank a coffee, took a walk, got a breakfast burrito. Best breakfast burrito in New York City, but I can't tell you where I went. I cannot tell you where I went. What's good, Polka? I'm in the morning now, brother. I can't tell you where I went, to be completely honest with you, because I got to gatekeep that shit. I don't want to see, I don't want to recognize anyone on the way to my fucking coffee walk. Okay. No, I'm still wearing the same outfit. I did change to get a drink, and then I have come back in the same outfit. And I am doing a second stream today because we have a clip view quota that I have clearly not hit. And the month is almost over. And so I got to get back. I got to figure it out. I got to get back on. I got to find a way. And what better way to do it other than to interview the Chip Goat? The Chip Goat, Bubble Boy. Okay, this is an important stream, especially for my on-chain boys. Why didn't you do market open? I did, brother. 8:30 a.m. every day. I ended it a little early. But some of us just want it more, man. Some of us are willing to stream 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a day. Some of us just want it more. So we have Bubble Boy coming on today. The deal was if you're on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, and you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. We got a Bubble Boy retweet. That means he's going to be here. So if you're joining from the Bubble Boy retweet, twitch.tv/threadguy, we made a deal. Okay. And the deal was if Intel beat earnings, he was going to agree to come back on the stream for part 2. Now, let's zoom out a little bit, because the first time Bubble Boy came on the stream, he gave us 2 of the greatest trades that have ever been had on the stream. Okay. The first one was he said, I don't care how much it's up, buy Intel right here. Okay. Buy Intel right here at $83. I think that's right. From at not thread guy at Bubble Boy. I'm pretty sure that is correct. Let's see. If I put it, yeah, that is exactly correct. $82. Nice earring. I forgot I'm wearing. I don't usually wear earrings on stream anymore, but I have headphones on. You can't even see them. 80. They're David Ehrman, by the way. If you were being sarcastic, I don't care. If you're being serious, they are David Ehrman. I won't gatekeep that. That would be a bottom to top 77% gain, basically in a straight line, and what conceded to be one of the hottest months, really. Like the following 2 weeks, I think were some of the craziest couple weeks in the market that we've seen, at least from when I've been paying attention. Crypto was so dead during this time, and stocks just went up only. And so he was the intel guy. And he was the intel guy, he was the intel guy, he was the intel guy. And then as of a couple of days ago, 1 week ago, did you ever buy that kid a Chromebook? No, I didn't, dude. God, I didn't. And as of a week ago, also, if you're joining on Twitter, watching on Twitter, and you want to chat, the only chat that I read is twitch.tv/threadguy. We got the Bubble Boy quote tweet, which is Aura. As of like a week ago, he made this tweet and he said, Bubble Boy sold. Yes, I sold out of everything. Yes, everything. Yes, even that one. The next 2 weeks will be tough for most of you. Good luck. Okay, this is on July 17th. This has 1 million views. This tweet has 1 million views on the Boy of Bubbles. And if we were to chart that one on Intel, it is basically the exact same price that is at right now. And so we made a deal, and I DM'd him. I said, look, I want to get you back on stream. I thought it was a shitpost. I have no idea. Usually I'm pretty good at this stuff. Okay, usually I'm really good and able to tell, like, when they're serious, when they're trolling. This one kind of seemed serious. I'm going to keep it a buck. By the way, lighting looks so much better with this light, but it hurts my face. It's a tough beauty's pain, but it's a tough problem to have. And so we made a deal, and the deal was if Intel beats earnings, you got to come back on stream. He said deal. And so Intel crushed earnings, gapped it up like 15%. And then today was pretty horrid, and it's now 4% lower than before earnings. And so the day he came on was last Intel earnings. I believe it was the day, 3 months ago to the day. Bubble Boy comes on for the first time, goes on a god run. Intel goes up only. He makes one of the greatest public calls, I would argue, in FinTwit history, at least this year. At least this year. Top trades of the year, it's going to be on there when we do our award show at the end of the year. And it is now in a weird spot, and he is the guy that will have to save Intel. Air Mass Micron clears. Where is Air Mass? Not tweeting. Hasn't tweeted in 2 weeks. Wow, this is a good clip. This is a fucking damn good clip. You should be on the best trade award. You know, I had a couple chances at it so far. I think I had a real shot on Zcash, and I just got cucked. I had a real shot at it, I think. I like to think I had a real shot at it. At one point, that P&L was pretty gross. If you were watching, that P&L was disgusting at one point. Absolutely disgusting. I had a real shot at it, and it just didn't quite go the way that I wanted to. It was still a nice trade, but it was not P&L top trade of the year worthy. And so, anyways, I know it's a Friday today. I think it's Friday. It's a Friday today. Kind of a slow day, all things considered. Fridays are usually generally pretty slow, but the market finds itself in a weird place. Oil is damn expensive. Brent oil is $91. Rates are high as hell across the board. They're down today, but they look pretty daunting. Trump is not running the taco playbook yet, and things are in a weird spot. So, Bubble Boy, perfect sign off into the weekend. I would recommend listening to this one. If you're on YouTube, Twitter, you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. Luke, I'm going to let him into the waiting room. I'm going to talk for a couple minutes. You tell me when he's good, okay? Okay. Let's go. The Boy of Bubbles. who's also a Serenity's biggest fan as well. This is a good tweet. This is a damn this Clippers got some crazy potential. I'm not gonna lie. Live with at Bubble Boy right now. Twitch dot TV/threadguy. Elon replied to Bubble Boy. He did, didn't he? May 29th. Bubble Boy reply from Elon, the truth, Musk. We back. I know we are. I'm not usually live during this time anymore, but look, we got to do it for interviews sometimes. It makes sense. So one more time, if you are watching on YouTube or Twitter and you would like to chat, Twitch.tv/threadguy. Luke, 30 minutes. We can get around 30 minutes. Bang through. 45 max. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. We'll get him right. We'll get him right. We'll get him right. We'll get him right. Luke has a cool job. You know, he's in there just talks to billionaires before every interview. It's a good gig. It's a really good gig. Luke has been on the phone with some. Luke has talked to Alon before stream. He's talked to CZ before stream. He's talked to Arthur Hayes before stream. He's talked to Kyle Samani before stream. He's talked to Peter Schiff. I don't know, TJR, Frank D, Rasmer. Okay, you're good to go. All right, let's get it. One more time, fan, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. And you'd like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. We got the boy of Bubbles coming on the stream right now. Let us fucking get it. Bada bang, bada bang. And boom. Mr. Bubble Boy, the boy of Bubbles, part 2. How are you, man?
Yo, how are you?
I'm good, dude. It's good to see you again. Look, I want to start really quick. First of all, thank you for popping in on late notice. And second of all, I want to give you a couple flowers because I think it was last Intel earnings, so I guess about a quarter ago, you came on and you had one of our best performing stream guests with trade ideas. Intel, and I believe SanDisk was the other one that proceeded to go basically up only since you first came on the stream. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, look, thanks for coming on. We had a deal. If Intel beat earnings, you would come on, and Intel crushed earnings, but the market is in a little bit of a weird spot at the moment. And so I think it's actually more valuable for you to come on now. Well, things look like this. I mean, how are you right now? Like, how is your year to date doing? How is your trading performance going in the market as we currently stand?
I think this is like the best year I've ever had trading or money wise in my life.
Whoa.
Like I think all the years I've been working combined do not add up to the money I've made this year.
All the years you've worked in your life combined do
Yes.
not add up to this year?
Yeah.
Wow. Why do you think, like, was this is just the year you finally put it all together and all of the work just caught up and it just hit? Like, why do you think that happened?
I think it's definitely the AI trade is part of it. And it's just because of my like career and background, it was a lot easier for me to know like what was bullshit and what was not and who was gonna make it and who wasn't. Because I don't like sit down every day like with the financials and I'm like, oh, like this company's expensive, this company's cheap. I'm always just thinking about the products and the customers that are going to use those products. So for me, it was just like right place, right time. And I've always been, you know, because I just like am an engineer, I've always been fascinated by AI and have been thinking about it for a long time and learning about it. So I was just in the right place. It's like all that research and knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, just like super valuable now.
I know I asked you this first of all, congratulations. I know I asked you this last stream. Are you still like, are you a full-time trader right now? Or are you working a job?
Well, I was probably consulting more back then, right? So I might have done like consulting gigs just because I like left my last job and I just really wasn't into like going to a big corporation again or like some very like highly hierarchical place. So I was doing like consulting work, but I definitely don't do that now.
To your earlier point of you have this prior, technical expertise that allowed you to see through the bullshit of what was real, what was fake, what was valuable at this initial blow off on the AI trade. Do you think that edge has eroded and there's sort of a new game being played? The technical expertise doesn't help as much, or is it equally as valuable as it was 6 months ago, a year ago?
It's definitely equally as valuable, and especially if you disagree with the market, right? So it takes time for the market to either like understand new information, or the market may weigh like certain kinds of information more than you would, because they're run by like people who are not as like in the weeds or technical. So Intel earnings is a good example always, because no one really knows what to make sense of it for a few days. But I also think like an example of people weighing things more than they should is like whatever Nvidia does is like all that matters, right? But people don't understand like most of like the compute in the future, it's probably not going to be Nvidia, right? Like it'll probably be like all the hyperscalers' own personal compute, TPUs, Trainium, Meta. It doesn't mean Nvidia is like going to go away. Like the pie is growing, right? Like the whole class of like market is growing, right? There's growth in this industry, but you have to understand that like what one person says doesn't set the rules for the whole entire industry. The industry moves based on what's the optimal choice, right? From an engineering or money
Yeah.
perspective.
So what do you think that means for the future of Nvidia's moat and like dominance?
I mean, when you're like when you have like these 75% margins to
Facts.
do like right place, right time, right? But like
Yeah.
as like Uncle Jeff always says, it's like your margin's someone else's opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You could only get away with it for so long, and there's a reason why hyperscalers for their own internal workloads are investing in their own ASICs, right? Like, or investing in their own interconnects. They want to own it, because at the scale that they're spending money, why would you be beholden to a customer? Like even you, like you want to like do a business, right? Like you'd be really dumb if like you only prioritize one microphone company, right? For your podcast. You'd be like, well, what if this microphone, like I like it, but I'm willing to change if like they start charging me too much, or like they're not shipping. So I just don't know. I think I think it's clear like Nvidia has, a pretty dominant position right now, but the incentive structure for the labs and the hyperscalers is to, vertically integrate. That's the incentive.
It's kind of like this Trini post I think he made about with memory and Micron
Yeah.
after their earnings, and he was like, okay, margins are insane, their earnings are disgusting, but the bear side to this is how long is the market going to let them get away with, I mean, fleecing everybody else?
Of course. And I've always like, yeah, that's just to your point. Like Micron has higher margins than even Nvidia, and they sell a less differentiated product. Like
Yeah.
people are more willing to just think of the value Nvidia is adding, right? Like people are more willing to pay a premium because you're managing, infrastructure, you're making a unique differentiated product. There's all this capital expenditure. Like people don't want to take on that risk all the time. But that's why people pay a premium. But Micron is really probably like the worst memory maker from just a quality perspective.
Really?
Yeah, just like from a quality perspective, their HBM has always been like the lowest quality. And one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last stream, but if you actually look at the big three memory makers, Samsung, SK, Micron, people think it's all about HBM because that's what the GPUs use. Now that's part of it, but most of the growth is actually coming from the commodity RAM, because to make HBM, you take commodity DRAM wafers and you slice them, you dice them, and you stack them, right?
Uh-huh.
So they consume commodity DRAM. So look at that. People still need DRAM for other things, right? But there's this big AI build out where people are going to just start consuming that. And the price of commodity DRAM has just skyrocketed even more than HBM. HBM's like steady to flat, maybe
Uh-huh.
slightly up, slightly down, because they have capacity, right? But commodity DRAM, like just the stuff you're putting in your PC, that's shooting through the roof. And that's where Micron and all these other people are making their money. But really, Micron's the most egregious because their HBM was always the lowest quality.
Their HBM's the lowest quality, but they're just dominating on a layer below with the
Yeah, I
commodity
mean, like
DRAM.
exactly, because like
Got it.
let's just say like Nvidia, and I don't have these numbers off the top of my head, but let's just say Nvidia sources 10% of their HBM from Micron, and they source like 40% from SK, 50% from Samsung or whatever, right? Well, there's less DRAM. Like
Yeah.
there's just less commodity DRAM, and Micron's just going to charge the market price for it.
So what does this mean for CXMT IPO? Is that yeah.
All right. So like
Yeah.
it's funny because you said like, oh, I made all these great calls. I'll give you a call. If you can get access to CXMT's IPO, you should just like full port that. You should just like I was thinking of like, pawning like everything I own to get more money to do this because it's extremely like mispriced. It's extremely lower. And the thing is, CXMT, despite them like, they're Chinese, they don't really have an HBM product. The demand for just commodity DRAM is so high, and they still get to charge that premium. And they're mainly selling to Chinese companies, right? So there's been like a lot of talk like CXMT is going to crash the DRAM market. I mean, it's not in their incentive to do that either because they don't make fucking like good HBM either. But they can sell to all the Chinese companies and make tons of money. And if you just look at like what Micron trades at, what CXMT is going to IPO at, and then just look at like how many bits or like DRAM sells their shipping, CXMT is extremely cheap. But
Okay.
that's partly because it's Chinese, right?
So at what price is it still egregiously cheap? Because I think hyperliquid valuation right now is 400 billion, give or take.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that cheap to me. But I think the Chinese
IPO is 130, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cheap. But I mean, even at 400, it'll grow into it. Like, I don't think it's the end of the world, but like at 130, I'm like moving to China if I can to get access.
Okay, I don't have that much experience trading emerging markets, but the age-old ism is like never trade Chinese companies ever. Why? Like, why? Where does that come from?
I think it's I think partly it's because like government intervention in the markets, like the government will back an industry and then immediately when like the industry is in trouble, we'll just be like, you guys got to figure it out. like stop living off of our like, welfare or our coattails. So the Chinese industry, like the CCP, the Central Party, they will prioritize an industry. They did this with EVs a couple of years ago, right? And all the EV companies were great buys, but now they're not because they're in deadly competition. China's not about like, from my perspective, the Chinese like stock market and the government there is not like, oh, I want a big winner. I just want like the biggest market cap company. It's more like I want this industry and I want people to compete to lower the cost. I want like this is going to be a public good. Like electric cars, cheap electric cars is great for the Chinese people. It's great for the world. Cheap memory will be the same thing. But the thing is with these semiconductor companies, they actually can't employ that strategy. They actually have to back them because it's such like the capital that you need to play in this game, especially at the global scale, is just so high that it doesn't actually make sense to make people like compete. It makes sense for people to come together and work together, right? So I think for the semis companies, it's extremely like it's a great opportunity, and I'm invested personally in like some Chinese companies.
Okay, so speaking of investing in Chinese companies, I might be misremembering this, but I'm almost positive it was you that was tweeting about buying Baba, and I have this like bit that's like every great man at some point in their life has tried to long Baba, and
lost money,
mostly lost money.
Probably every time I've longed Baba, I have lost money.
But they're in a crazy spot, right? Especially with this takeover of Chinese open source, Kimi with Zipu. Like it feels like they are in dominance.
They're owners of all these like Chinese AI labs.
They own everything.
Except maybe DeepSeek. But I think also like if ignore that for a second, if you just look at like Alibaba's like I would say like their e-commerce, and then if you look at their cloud, it's so cheap. It's so cheap. And it's still a very high quality cloud. Like if you're outside the US, like if you're in Asia, if you're in like an emerging market, even in Europe, you might use like Alibaba's cloud. And now they have like the biggest, like basically some of the biggest AI companies in the world on there. And they're going to start getting deals with like Huawei to get special chips. So I think like Alibaba's in a great position. If you think the Chinese AI market is going to grow, like that money is going to flow through Alibaba servers.
There's Huawei's private, yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure. I think they have some public listing. It could be wrong.
Interesting on Baba. Okay, I want to go back to some of the broader market stuff a little bit. I asked you your performance at the beginning of the stream. I don't want to make this like a villain head to head, but Serenity posted monthly
Yeah.
I guess like year to date, but in the month it was on 49%, which is crazy because I mean, yeah, like DRAM is down a lot and bags got hit pretty bad, and further out bottleneck side, all these things kind of got crushed. But like SPX is a couple percent, 2% maybe, 3% off
Yeah.
ATH. Do you think that this is general performance right now, like mostly round tripped P&Ls amongst the fintech crowd?
So I hate to give like Serenity some credit here, but like you have to admit like most of these companies are down like 50% from their all-time highs, and it's like a broad industry sell-off. But I think people see that, and listen, like we could all say like, oh, like manage your risk better, do better, but like uh people see that and they may dunk. And I'm not saying like all of Serenity's picks are good picks. I'm just stating like these companies are up thousands of percent in a
So
year.
valid. This is a great take.
Let's say what's like even if they dropped 50% from an all-time high that you like picked randomly for a day, they're still some of the best performing companies in the world, and there probably will be the best performing companies for like the next at least for the next year or maybe longer, right? It depends on the company. But I think like when you see like SanDisk or Intel moving 10+% a day, like you can't be really shocked that you could go down like 20, 30, 50%. It's just the nature of the game for something that's high growth, right? So that's what I would say about that. I don't think that's like a sign that you should just like sell everything, everyone's cooked. It's a sign that you should just probably like take some chips off the table and be careful, so you don't actually go to zero. But you just need to like be prescient of what's going on. Like think of dollar movements, right? Like SanDisk probably about 50% down from its all-time high, but like in like actual like market cap terms, it's like barely moved versus where it was at the beginning of the year.
That's a good take. Let me see how much it's actually down. I think it's like 37.4.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of selling everything and panicking, I have it screenshotted. July 17th, 3:26 p.m. at Bubble Boy. I sold everything, period. Enter. Yes. Enter. Everything. Yes. Dot. Even that one. The next 2 weeks will be tough for most of you. Good luck. 850,000 views.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, it was a banger. I mean, dude, I don't even think I realized how much motion you got, which is insane. Either. 850,000 views.
Yeah.
Congrats, first of all, for having that level of reach. But where are we right now with your exposure to the market? Like, is that still relevant?
So net my portfolio, like I'm long and short. I have no positive exposure to like SPX. So like on a delta basis, I'm negative SPX, right? But not like largely negative. It's not like I'm shorting 100%, but I think it's like negative like 15% exposure to the market.
Whoa.
And that's just because like you have to realize kind of like the game theory here. All these names are up hundreds of percent, some cases thousands of percent.
Yep.
You have to understand like these institutional investors who bought them, either bought them at the beginning of the year or halfway through, and they're like if you bought Intel at the beginning of the year and you put 10% of your money in that, you probably made like a 30-40% return just doing nothing. That's just one small position. That is great performance for a professional money manager, right? That's some of their best years. So they like from their perspective, they need to lock in their gains and just like, again, like you need to understand their goal is not to like become the richest person on earth. Their goal is to get their bonus. Like that's their goal, right? So it's kind of like positioning, but also it's like, you know, we got like earnings came, the market ripped, everyone's realizing that the build out's real. Now there's questions of like, is CapEx sustainable from hyperscalers? Is CapEx by even some of these companies like overbuilt? A big reason why I tweeted that was like, I for a long time was just like, I had positive exposure, and like if I lost, like days where like SanDisk was down like 10%, I might have been down 1% on the portfolio max, right? Even though SanDisk might have been one of my largest positions.
Yeah.
The reason why I was very like move fast and just panic and sell is just because panic early. I think there was a lot of innovations that came out, and it took me some time to really sit down and read through all the research of like what Kimmy's doing and all these other AI models. And also like I'm in the Bay Area, and not today, I'm in New York, but most of the time I'm in the Bay Area, and just like talking to people who are working on the research and just asking them questions of what, like, do you think this technique's scalable? How long until this starts reaching other labs? And I started realizing like you have to, like, new facts have come. I cannot hold things with as much confidence with the prior thesis, right?
Wow. What do you, I guess on the Kim, we can do the CapEx after, on the Kimmy point, what do you
Yeah.
think the emergence of Kimmy and, the triple narrative violation? One, it's a Chinese open source company. Two,
Yeah.
the token cost is significantly cheaper. Three, they allegedly did it on Huawei chips. Like, what do you think the emergence of Kimmy has changed for your long horizon view of the AI trade?
So if Kimmy came out and it was just a really good model, but it's still using like, more or less the same kind of techniques or infrastructure of like the other AI models, I probably would have cut some risk, but I wouldn't have like really moved risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that Kimmy's using a new technique that really cuts down memory growth entirely. So it's a fixed memory size, and they got really good results. So they didn't just like cut like, memory and got like okay results. They got world-class results. So the technique Kimmy's using for these, and we call them attention mechanisms, and like
Attention mechanisms?
yeah, like
Okay.
these AI models have this thing that people have dubbed attention.
Okay.
It uses this technique called linear attention, and linear attention was used by the Quen models back in the day. Well, not even that long ago, right? But Quen wasn't like as competitive, right? So like we didn't think much of it, and we didn't think like it would scale. It's looking more and more likely that this scales pretty well. And if that's the case, you have a fixed memory size. It's always fixed,
Okay.
right? So the memory's not growing with the longer you talk to it. And the memory per user is going to be fixed. Now, it's not completely fixed. Like a lot of pushback I got was like, well, that's only like 75% of the model is fixed. The rest still kind of grows. My point there was like, well, okay, now let's just say every model in the world goes to that. How much memory do we need, right? But since I've like looked at it, I've done more research, and I don't think it's as clear cut, right? Like it doesn't mean like we're done for. It just means like there's a trade-off that I think a lot of the Chinese labs and increasingly the American ones will start adopting.
So in theory, if every frontier model goes
Yeah.
to this, the demand for DRAM drops significantly?
Well, DRAM for sure. I mean, HBM is different, but DRAM for sure. You just need to offload less so you can get away with it. But here's the other thing. It's like you can like everything fixed because they already bought the memory, right? Like they already have these servers. Everything fixed, they just serve more and more. So they'll make more and more money. It's not bad for them. They're going to make more money with the, like, imagine you had a car and like you just wake up and someone's like, oh, I found a new way to drive it. And now it's like 10 times faster. It's like, you'd be like, well, why sell the car? Right. Like, it's great. I'm not going to buy a new car though. So I thought it was kind of a bit of that. But also, I just think like you have to really like readjust the assumption now that they're going to like crazily spend for the next 2 years. What's to say there's not another innovation that shrinks this more? And now like you have this one server rack and you go from serving like 1,000 users to 100,000 users. How can you justify spending 500K for a new server rack? It gets harder, right? Now, that being said, we have like 2 years before that actually shows up, but it's definitely in everyone's conversations now. And I will say, even if this happens and they adopt Kimmy, the money will shift to different things.
Mhm.
And as a lot of people have already said this, and they've been right for the wrong reasons, Kimmy's actually really good for NVIDIA. Because the big thing for NVIDIA was most of the time when you're doing inference, the GPU is sitting there doing nothing.
Mhm.
And so you paid for this expensive GPU and you're just like not
Watching it.
using it. Yeah, you're just not using it. Kimmy makes the GPU more busy. So it's more justified to like, buy the high-end NVIDIA stuff.
Got it.
But I think everyone's reasoning was just complete bullshit and lies. So that's another point.
Okay, then to your earlier point on hyperscaler CapEx build out, we had Google earnings on Wednesday. We had Google earnings on Wednesday. They announced a substantial increase on CapEx guidance, and I have the chart up right now. Google's down now 20% from ATH. It's down $30 from the 350 level where Berkshire Buffett bought $10 billion of their, I think, $80 billion dilution. And I mean, Mags got destroyed yesterday.
Yeah.
And so at what point are you, or is the market going to step in and buy Google, or do we just like hate this CapEx increase period?
The financial analysts hate CapEx. Like it just lowers free cash flow and everything's free cash flow to them. A company is only worth its free cash flow from now to infinity, right? So if you have no free cash flow for the next year or two, and you had to buy the company, just hold it for 2 years, you're in theory not going to make any money. Like if you bought the whole company and just held it for 2 years. Again, that's theory, right?
Yeah.
But like the pyramid wasn't built in like a day, right? It takes time to do the right things, right? And takes money and investment. And I think the market will punish them for CapEx just because there's like boomer fund managers who have like finance degrees and that's all they know. They don't know that the pie is bigger on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. Like what was the CapEx of like Christopher Columbus finding North America? It's probably pretty high.
Yeah.
But once we got here, it was like worth it, right? We're probably like, that's the model I'm applying to this. So I think the market will punish them as long as they keep guiding to higher CapEx. Now, that being said, I don't think they will. I think for this year, it was very clear that they were going to finish the guidance of like a little bit higher until next year. I think next year is when you're going to start seeing things slowly hint to less. You mentioned Google, but Microsoft is the one that got really punished. And it's because Microsoft's plan, like their whole strategy of like, we're going to burn CapEx and make these AI data centers, investors don't believe it because they're like, for what? Like, for what? What's your product?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like what
For
do
Copilot?
you need?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, for Copilot. And then they're like, oh, we're going to rent this to people. And it's like, well, the big AI labs are doing their own data centers and they're kind of like diversifying. So like, why should we like believe you? Now, there's probably like a kernel of truth that like people will just rent from whoever. But that's where the market will punish them. Google, for the longest time, didn't get punished because Gemini was pretty good. They use AI for all their products, even not Gemini. Like it's just a common workload, right?
Yeah.
So
I'd say Google search, like they have that thing everywhere.
of course. So the thing is though, like they can only do it so much. Like eventually the market will just put its foot down and be like, Google, you can't just dilute me another 20% this year. Like you can't just do another dilution.
Yeah.
Google, you can't borrow $1 trillion. Like chill out. But here's the thing: as they're bringing this capex on, the money starts coming. The money, like it's like time to recoup your cost, right? Like if I'm trying to think of a dumb example, like I'm opening a laundromat, like I have to invest in these like laundry machines and dryers. It might take me like a year or two to get the money, but that's going to start happening with these data centers. Like eventually the money is going to start coming. And by my math, it's a lot of money and it's high margin. It's extremely high margin. Like we're talking like north of 90% margin sometimes for serving these models.
How much of it is dependent on one, Gemini being good or frontier level, which it is not right now, and they're maybe getting double punished for it. But then there's the second, like this gray cloud, I feel like, over the industry of cheap Chinese open source causing tokens to be erased to zero. Like, what if the Google payoff, like from CapEx, isn't as lucrative as maybe it felt like it could be a year or two ago?
So I will say, we'll address the Gemini point. To an extent, Gemini not being great is like not good. Like if they have a better and better model, it completely justifies the capex.
Yeah.
And let me explain, because it has to do with your second point. The Chinese models coming and making good models isn't as big of a deal, I think, for the capex. Here's the thing: if a model like starts improving beyond the Chinese models, like we're valuing them based on the frontier capability, right?
Mhm.
So if the next Gemini model can, like, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a high value thing, like find a new drug, right?
Yeah.
Like that can cure people. What's the value of that Gemini model? It's whatever the value of the drugs are. You know, imagine
Infinite.
it can find tons of drugs. Imagine it can make a movie. Imagine it can like do all this other stuff. And we're on track. Like we will get there. It's gonna take years. We'll get there. But the Chinese models can't, like, unless the Chinese models start like we diverge and the Chinese models just start making new capabilities that the American ones cannot even match. That's scary. But it's not a big deal that they can code better. Like coding's already done. Like coding's gone. The next step is going to be like doctors, lawyers,
Got it. So
airline.
like if Kimmy came out and made some novel pharmaceutical discovery, then it's okay,
Yeah,
let's panic.
sell everything,
Yeah.
run. Yeah,
Okay.
run.
Got it. But until that happens, America's, okay, so then what do you think this means for, I know I'm jumping around, but economics for OpenAI and Anthropic IPOs? Like, did Elon just cook everybody? He got out the door first, he got
Yeah.
paid, and then now there's no time left for Anthropic, OpenAI?
So there'll be time for them. Elon was smart for going first,
Yes, he
right?
was.
And moving quickly, because speed is
112
most
right now with
important.
SpaceX.
Yeah. Speed is very important for getting money. And the more money you have, the more you can fight. I don't think the IPOs are cooked, but if we're in like a real prolonged bear market, they are. I don't see that. Like, despite my tweet of like selling everything, I want to buy back, but I just think there's a time to do it. And then the time's not right now. So I think like the Anthropic IPO shouldn't be derailed. Should still come at the end of this year, I think, right? The OpenAI one we have to see though, because they don't want to IPO and then immediately people are like, "Oh, Anthropic's model is better. Let me just sell you." Like
Yeah.
the most common trade in the world is going to be like long Anthropic, short OpenAI as like a hedge, right? But again, like this removes a lot of nuance.
So are you a re-entry on like price capitulation or on some news-based AI advancement event?
I think the price needs to go down a bit, but also I think we need some like more clear signs from the AI labs and the hyperscalers that like they're not worried, like they're good. Um, and also I'm just doing my own research of like what does these like new innovations really mean, right?
Yeah.
Like what are the impacts to all parts of the supply chain? So part of it's me doing my work and being more confident, because when I invest with like confidence.
Uh-huh.
I'm not like an indexer, right? Like I'm not trying to just buy like 1% of every company. I'm just trying to put money in the company I like, right? So it's a bit of a different investing mindset for me.
What are you raising the fund?
What fund?
The hypothetical, I don't know, a hypothetical fund.
Oh, I don't know about this fund that I've heard people talk about.
Okay, the one other thing we haven't talked about, I know you got to go pretty soon. Let's just go 5-10 minutes.
No, I got time.
Okay. But the one other topic we haven't really covered is Intel, which is funny. So I guess to start, like, if I remember correctly, when you came on 3 months ago, give or take, your Intel thesis was really based off like their packaging ability and the new Note.
Yeah.
Where are you right now on Intel as a company, its future growth, your conviction in it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, by the way, I think it's like super bullish. Like the earnings call was great despite the sell-off, because they're guiding for capex. The reason it's selling off is people think they're going to do more capex than they're talking about. They're very adamant that they only need to do 20 billion. And by my math, I think 20 billion is more than enough. Also, they mentioned in the call, they have prepayments from customers. So customers are putting up the money saying, I want capacity whenever you get it. And they mentioned, forget 18A, which is already in production in 18AP. They mentioned they're going all in now on their next generation 14A. And that's because there's a customer. They've said this many times. They would never boost capex until there's a guaranteed customer. I take them at their word for this. Like CapEx is no joke, especially for this, because once you put this stuff up, you need flow all the time. It's not like an AI inference cluster where like it's just API. Like you need new customers, right? All the time. You definitely think that they have long-term commitments there. So I'm very bullish on Intel. I think like honestly, like the market's selling off a bit, the CapEx rumors, like it's just like people don't know what they don't know, right? Similar to me, like Kimmy came out, I didn't know what I didn't know. I have to like cut some risk here. I think right now is like the best time. I mean, maybe not like today, but like in the next 6 months to a year, like this is like you're getting it even cheaper. And it's like by my math, 14A has a real customer. You can just do the math of like, okay, 20 billion, how many like machines does that buy? How many wafers could that translate to? And what would they charge for them? And you just start getting ridiculous numbers. You start getting numbers that are like 100% revenue growth, like within a year.
Disgusting.
So I just think, yeah. And by the way, I've heard like my name's been ringing in these pod shops now because it's become a common like trade to like bet against Bubble into the Intel earnings, apparently. But I think people, the market discounts things until they start seeing results in the earnings, right? When it happens all at once. Like when Intel beat last time and they said like, oh, we're positive margin, we're going to be higher growth because of CPUs and more positive margin for longer. That's all they needed. And then the whole move happened instantly.
We have this bit in the stream, never bet against Bubble Boy.
I think it's okay to bet against me. I'm not always right, but if I'm like confident in something, just know like I wouldn't be overly confident if I didn't have like good research to back it up. I am very fallible. Like when I know I didn't do my research and something new happens, like Kimmy, I very quickly reassess my plan.
I think as you should. Okay, here's another side of the market that I don't understand that well at all. But I saw this, I saved it just in case. This semi-analysis made this post about SMIC and how they're beating Intel's 18A. Like, can you break down exactly what that is and like can China catch up on that side?
You're asking the right person, I think, for this. So to your second part of your question, absolutely China can catch up. I'm not one of these people who just think like EUV is like this like godsend that like no one can replicate. I mean, like we're not idiots. Like everyone, like the laws of physics are the same here in the US and China, right? You could only like hide things for so long. The question is more when do they catch up, not if. And the comparison of like 18A and SMIC, I mean, it was very disingenuous, I think. The comparison is like transistor density and all these other things and pitch. That's not like performance. Like that's just like one metric. So you look at one metric and you're trying to say like what the whole performance of the node is. I could pull out a bunch of other metrics that will say Intel's better. And the other point is like 18A was like early. Like they picked out Intel. Why didn't they pick out Samsung, which was even worse than Intel, right? So it seems pretty targeted in my view. I don't think they're like good friends of mine, so I think that's why they're trying to pull this wool over people's eyes. But 18A is like, okay, it was their first node to ramp up, and they just started moving their real capacity, like their own internal capacity, from TSMC onto 18A. And 18A's benefit is more power. It's not really like higher, more transistor density, right? 18AP, I'd like them to do the same comparison, and 14A, I'd like them to do the same comparison. So if they're like a real reputable publication, they should just keep updating and do like a node head-to-head, right? It's completely fine if like someone wants to point out like flaws. I just think like, you know, like the way you present the information already biases it, right? Like the media is biased just because of choosing what to report on, right?
How much impact do you think they have on the market if they were to go full blown, like, you know, anti-Intel crusade? Like, how much Intel influence do you think they have over the market?
I think in certain scenarios they have a lot, in certain scenarios they don't. I think if they went on a whole Intel crusade, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Intel's gonna spend the money and make the money.
It's
Like
gonna
they
happen
say they
anyways.
have cut
Yeah.
like no
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Google and like Nvidia are not gonna read like the semi-analysis report and be like, yo, actually pull those wafers from Intel. Like it's not how it works. It's more like the investor community, right?
Yeah.
And even then, like everyone needs to do their own research. Like if you're not doing that, what's the point? And I've heard from people who like are professional like hedge fund managers that they ban some of their employees from reading sell side research. They ban them. They just say don't read it at all. So sell side research is just there to color what's going on. It's not really there to like tell you what to do.
Yeah, I like this take. Okay, so there's this another thing that happened that I think was kind of fascinating is I guess it was a month or so ago now, but the last Leopold Aschenbrenner
Yeah.
situation awareness 13F was I don't know, eye-opening, I
Yeah.
suppose is the term that I'll use. And then it was later disclosed the Shaw's 20% investment, which I'm now a community member bag holder of, at like, I don't know, $1.5 billion or something for
Mhm.
Australian NeoCloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the direction that Leopold and it sort of resembles like the AI bottleneck trade a little bit. It's like, okay, fuck it, we're doing photonics. Okay, fuck it. What's cheaper than
Yeah.
photonics? But now it's just the money managers that are doing it. What do you think about that?
So I have to preface, Leo's a good friend of mine. I don't give him any advice or anything, but we're mutual respects for each other. I think he's not like he's more sophisticated than he comes off, I think. His investment in neoclouds has a very, very specific thesis. And I actually don't think it's wrong. Depends on the neocloud, but like he has a very good thesis on this. And also, like, if you're going to invest in like flash memory, photonics, all these things, they're by definition cyclical, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're going to invest, you're going to build out, and then you're going to wait till you need to do it again. He's has a very specific thesis, and I don't really want to state it for the public because I'd rather him state that when he's ready. Like, I don't want to like give away his like story, but I don't think it's like non-sound. I mean, I'm pretty bullish on certain neoclouds, and when I started moving my portfolio, one of the first things I bought was neoclouds. So I don't think neoclouds in the short term are going to do bad. The question is just like long term, do these neoclouds just mature into real clouds, like real infrastructure, right? So there's a lot of debate, and there's a lot of smart people, I think, looking at it. I wouldn't say like my whole portfolio is long neoclouds though.
You should become a Shaw's shareholder with me.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
I didn't really. I just saw the situation awareness, 19.9%. Okay. Okay. Another interesting thing happened today is Jensen made a Twitter account
Yeah,
and threw out a war cry rallying on the side of open source AI. And
yeah,
it feels like we're setting up for this artificial intelligence civil war that is basically
for
Sam
sure.
and Dario who hate each other, but maybe they have common enemies against, maybe they have Trump Abbott on their side, but they don't have David Sachs against the open source Chinese companies, which
Yeah.
are quickly become like the topic of this, the topic. What do you think happens?
I hate to agree with Jensen because he is talking his book, right? Like this is good
Totally.
for Nvidia,
So
right?
good for NVIDIA.
And he loves neoclouds. He wants neoclouds to exist. He doesn't want all the compute in like a handful of people's hands, and other people can't come up with models. If anything, he wants everyone to have local compute, every business. That's the benefit for him, right? I will say, like, yeah, there is gonna be like a bit of a civil, as you say, like a civil war. Like a lot of people think like we should ban Chinese open source models, and they cite all these bullshit risks and reasons. I think if you're an AI lab, you're a lab. Like lab is in your name.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like your job is to innovate. If you can't like innovate, you're not going to be a lab for long. So I think you should focus on what America's best at. And America's best at innovation. China's great at iteration. China's so good at taking something, making 1,000 copies and refining and making it better. Like one of my like favorite things to do in like my free time is like look at YouTube shorts. And there's all these YouTube shorts of like ancient Chinese construction. And they like go like how they built their bridge, and like the first time it failed, and then like 1,000 years later they got the perfect bridge. Like this is like built into the Chinese culture. They're so good at refining things over generations. So I think like, yeah, like long story short, I just think the AI labs like trying to ban competitors is really stupid. And it's gonna happen with or without them. Like we're not gonna have a monopoly or a duopoly in AI. This is not a thing. There's many reasons I could state. One of them is data. Like you need certain kinds of data to do the next leap in ability. Like how are you going to discover drugs if you don't have data on biology and chemistry, right? Like you're not going to do it, right? Like you could only like do so much just like in your house reading textbooks with a pen and paper, right? So I think they need to realize that their job is like not to like fight the low end consumers. Their job is to move the needle. And if you can't move the needle, then you shouldn't be in this business at all.
YouTube short. I hate to just pick this one out, but YouTube Shorts and the Big 2.6 is a little bit questionable.
Yeah. I'm addicted to them for a weird reason.
You know, there's also this funny, like, there's this deep irony where it's like, the US wins the internet by being open and letting everyone basically build the internet on top. And then round 2, you kind of get like a start over, and the US is like edging towards like closed AI, or at least pushing for closed AI. And China is like, no, we're gonna do open AI. And like Xi does a speech and he's like, no, we're doing open AI, like open AI. It's yeah, deeply ironic how that's playing out.
Yeah. I will say though, I don't think like a lot of people have told me they're gonna ban Chinese models. I don't think there's any chance that's happening. I just like from the people in the administration who actually advise like Trump, and of course there's Congress and the Senate and all that, but there's just not really, it doesn't really make sense. I mean,
What do you think is the trade if that happens? I've spent a lot of time trying to think of this.
Wow.
And I originally
the trade is to go long AI infrastructure. It's to go long hyperscalers, right? Like the question of like outside competition is just gone. They can't really ban it anyway. Like we will just fly to China and come back with some flash drives. Like we'll figure something out. The question is more like if you work with the government, how can you ensure that these models are safe? So if they ban it, they'll say you can't work with the government if you're just using their API. That's fine. That makes sense. That's reasonable. But a whole bunch of companies will come out who say, hey, we downloaded Kimmy and we're going to run it safely just for you. Like that's going to be the new thing.
What is your thesis as to why there's no chance the US will ban it? Because I don't think that's the consensus idea.
I mean, you kind of see like Jensen made his whole post. Do you see the people who are signing on it?
Yeah, the
a
biggest.
lot of them,
Elon co-sign, everybody.
Yeah, Elon doesn't want like if you can beat Elon, go beat him. He'll try to get better. Like that's the whole point. Like this is a competition. Like why are you trying to do unfair tactics?
I think even Sam it's really just Dario, right? Sam
yeah, of course. Yeah, like even yeah, I don't think Sam hates it at all. I think it's more like, well, like we're focused on doing the next big thing. We're not focused on just like commoditizing like like little Python scripts. Like that's not going to be where we make most of our money in the future.
Like okay, I'll give you like a one final and then like a sign off. Even if you're not long anything crazy right now, what are the emerging trends and or trades that you think are the most interesting over the rest of the year?
I said I hope I said this on your last stream. I said photonics is cooked.
You did say photonics is cooked. Yes,
I was absolutely right, and people keep trying to like grab for straws there. I will say though, there may be like a new way to do like quote unquote photonics that is less cooked, but it's gonna not be any of the names that people have right now with like these very expensive lasers and advanced like TSMC stuff. It'll be very different. So I think that's something that I'm excited about. And I think neoclouds are in a very interesting place right now. I myself, I'm a customer of like Nebius, right? Because I want to run Kimmy and like figure it out. The only way I can really run Kimmy is if I get one of those big servers.
How much is it?
I don't know if I could say because it's like contract to contract, but we're talking like hundreds of thousands a month.
Well, what the fuck are you doing on it?
We're doing research.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And what is the like? Why do you have to run? Dude, we kind of glossed over that, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
What
Sorry.
what is the like? Break down the advantages of this approach, running
Of
locally like this.
Well, for me, it's more like I need to I'm not gonna like take someone else's word of like what Kimmy's impact is gonna be. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna say, okay, like how is it running? Like what do the tests say and all this? And the other advantage is just like you run it for yourself. You can do all kinds of things. You can change it. You can optimize it. And also, I think when Kimmy starts becoming really open source, like when they drop the weights, it's going to be a fun race to see who can get it to run because it's not that easy.
So I've been like we spent a lot of time talking about on the stream talking about local AI and what is the best
Yeah.
expression to long local AI. And I'm always like, fuck, I wish I wish like Mac Mini was its own
Yeah.
company.
By the way, the answer is Flash. For long local AI, it's
And
Flash.
who specifically?
All of them. All of them. Yeah. I think there's a Taiwanese company your readers should look into called Phison.
Python.
That make flash controllers, and they're getting rid of DRAM. I'm very bullish on this idea of getting rid of DRAM. Who knows? I might be doing it myself.
Whoa. Could you give us like the best explanation you can as to why it's Flash?
Well, Flash has like density, right? Like you can store like like terabytes on Flash, right? So there's that. Also, if you look at like what you're really doing during AI, like all the naive like EEs will tell you like, oh, Flash is slow. Well, it's slow if like you just use it for anything. But if you use it for AI, you need to know how to use it, how to talk to it. AI doesn't always need fast memory. It doesn't always need this.
Ah,
You have to know what you need and when. So the access pattern matters more.
okay. Flash.
Yeah.
Any other themes that you really like or specific names
We
coming
should
year?
we should not this year, but next year I'm very interested to see what Qualcomm does.
What is up with every company being like, "Oh, we're building some device with Qualcomm." There was a SpaceX leak, and then they take it back. There's like the OpenAI.
They
What
have some sauce, man.
they just have it? Like, what is it?
Well, I was very skeptical, and I think everyone's very skeptical of Qualcomm right now. So we have to see what they really ship. But there's reason to believe that they're not like completely inept and liars. They may actually like if you like you could pull up on your stream eventually like Qualcomm's like data center accelerators, what bandwidth they're quoting, right?
Okay.
They're quoting ridiculous bandwidths, and many people just don't think they can hit it. They just don't think it's real. Like they think like there's some like little terms of service, little asterisks there. I think there's a chance that they might actually not be joking.
And if they're not joking, you think it's just goes crazy?
I think it has a huge advantage. Yeah,
Nice.
Qualcomm's a terribly run company, so let's see
Why?
that.
Why? Why?
It's just this terrible management, like just really like they've basically alienated like every customer they've had. That like they alienated Apple. They got a huge lawsuit. They had a practical monopoly on like modems for like 4G and 5G, and now they need to like reinvent themselves. But they're like cockroaches, like they never die. So
That's I didn't really have the lore on Qualcomm. Like,
yeah,
that's
Qualcomm and Apple had a lot of beef, and they sued each other a lot.
who
So
won? Do we know who won?
Apple,
Apple won, of course, right? Fuck.
of course, right?
Bobo, you're the GOAT. Okay, give me like a I don't know. I guess you gave me a sign off. Like, I don't know. What are you excited? Give me this as a sign off. How low does DRAM go? And like, when are you, I don't know. What are you working on, or what are you excited about right now that you haven't mentioned, if anything?
I'm excited for Flash to take what DRAM's job is. So when you start seeing that happening, sell DRAM. Like we're not there yet, but yeah, I mean, like you can only charge people extortion for so long. So
Okay, actually,
that's
last
what I'm
question.
excited
Give me
about.
a sign off on favorite trader on Twitter right now that you think is hot or
I
underrated or doing well or anything.
have to pull out my phone and see.
Who's the next Bubble Boy is what I want to know, if it's possible.
Sadly, I think irrational analyst is a very smart
Nice pull.
person. And I think he's a real like photonics expert and an engineer. And I would definitely like don't just take him at it like what he posts, like at his word, but like read what he says and read what he talks about, and you'll start learning about the industry. Like in photonics, you'll probably make better investments. And who knows, like I said, like if photonics gets uncooked, it's gonna be this guy who finds it, right? He'll find you the stock, right? So he has some recommendations, but we're yet to see if they've played out.
Nobody's
And by
on.
the way, we like hang out all the time, like
Do
in the
you?
Bay. Yeah, me and him, we hang out all the time.
You got some Chrome on right now?
No.
You didn't bring any Chrome?
No, not today. I'm in the city. It's kind of hot. I have to run around
It
a
is
lot.
kind of hot. I don't know if Bubble was really bad. I've never seen him fucking hit a money spread in some Chrome jeans with a
No,
Clase Azul in the club.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Dude, you're the GOAT. Part 2 was sick. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you.
You're
Can I
a
do a shout out? Because I tried to shout someone out last time, but I messed up.
run it.
Shout out my boys at Through.
Shout out Through. Maybe one day we'll do a stream on what is
We
Through.
get the Through guys on.
Robert Chang.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Bubble Boy and Robert Chang, titans of the cryptocurrency industry. We're in good hands, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Through. Bubble Boy, shout out to Bubble Boy. I look forward to part 3 at some point
Sure,
in
man.
the
Thank
near
you.
future. Maybe $200 intel. And
sure.
maybe I'll see you in New York.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, my guy. Much love, dude.
Have a
Thanks for
good
coming
one.
on.
Bye.
Peace. God, that guy's box office, huh? I don't you know, I haven't been doing that many guests recently, but like, have I ever, Jackson Ray, what's up? Have I ever steered you wrong on a guest ever? By the way, other takeaway is we've gotten fucking smart. Chat, our stream, we've gotten smart. Have we not gotten smart? We're here asking questions about, I didn't even know what Micron was when I had him on last time. I was a crypto guy, dude, only. I mean this respectfully, but you sounded like you knew what you were talking about. Bro, I feel like I low-key do, which is crazy because I had no fucking idea last time. Bro, I was reading off a script last interview. I was mad, and he kept saying, great question, great question. I'm like, fuck, that was a Tulip King ad question. That was not my question. I felt like I knew. We're getting sharp on, we got to look into that. I forget what he called it, but that Kimmy design mechanism for memory. What does he call it? Like the cap on memory. We gotta Robert Chang. Dude, Robert Chang. I love you, man. I don't even know what you are anymore. You're like I don't even know what you are, dude. You cracked me the fuck up. I felt like I understood this interview better too, which means I'm becoming less retarded. Thanks. I think we're becoming way less retarded. Also, 300K a month on a server to run Kimmy to do what? What the fuck was that? Oh, I said retarded. Fuck. I said it 3 times. I said it 4 times. Like, what's he doing? He's just stealing models? What is he doing? Dario trying to ban Kimmy. He should be banning Bubble Boy, bruh. I feel like I got more retarded during that. Oh my god. Phison is the company we're gonna look at. Phison. They do Flash. By the way, I was staring at this chart during the interview. This thing looks fucking good. We did a guy like that on once a month, don't we? Just bring Bubble Boy back every month. Oh, he's so box office. I feel like he fuck with me too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to link him in New York. I'm gonna try to link him. Should I link him and just like rip a money spread? $2 bill money spread. He never seen some shit like that in his life. Okay, what do you think about Kimmy Moonshot and would you invest at 30 bill val? I don't even know how to think about that. Tulip King, are you bullish any meme coin? Oh boy. I don't even know how to think about the valuations of these Chinese companies. I don't have much of a take on that, to be completely honest. Like, theoretically, like I think you should be bullish at that val. I want to make Bubble Boy pledge his allegiance to America and see if I can beat these spy allegations. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to whip out an American flag and ask him to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to hold it in the air in the middle of Times Square. Beat the spy allegations. All right. That was our second stream. I have a quota I have to hit, and I hit it. Okay. I have a quota I have to hit, and I hit it. I'm live every day, 8:30 a.m. EST. The other thing that happened, I'm going to get the other thing that happened, the other thing that happened, the other thing that happened. I know, DNAB. I know. The other thing that happened, ladies and gentlemen, is arguably the greatest basketball team in the history of the NBA has just been assembled. LeBron James to the Knicks, or excuse me. Yeah, let's see. LeBron James to the Sixers. And this one is, Gentani, what's good? This one is particularly hits close to home because I had to listen to Rasmer say LeBron James to the Knicks every day for the last 3 months. I've heard nonstop LeBron to the Knicks. You don't understand. Rich Paul did an interview and they're waiting for Jalen Brunson and LeBron and Brunson and LeBron. I've heard every day for the last 3 months about LeBron James to the Knicks and LeBron James to the Sixers. And there is a guy, look at these trades because it was so unlikely. Top P&L, Sailor Moon was buying in at 3%. LeBron James to the Sixers on Polymarket banked it for $115K. There's $400,000 P&Ls, and the worst odds were 10-1. That is insane. The worst odds on this were 10-1 on six-figure P&Ls for LeBron. There was 4 of them. I did not realize how much money was shoved into this market, but it did $43 million of volume on LeBron James' next team. And Sixers were like, man, they were at 9%, 12%, 10%, 9%, 9%, boom, 100%. Insane. Pretty nuts. CP stream is counterpart stream is free while grifters are too busy selling paid. Chit chat, Telegram, and groups. TG is real. TBH. What were the highest panels for no? I'll tell you. 33K, 11K. I mean, they probably mostly expired 0, right? Why was it so underdog? Because Philly's like loaded, bro. I'm a huge. Also, Clippers, start ripping Bubble Boy. He retweets everything. It's a goat. I'm a huge. Okay, my boy I grew up with from my county. What's good, Rectal? A kid that I grew up with, know my whole life, played at Duke. Jeremy Roach played at Duke, and then he transferred to Baylor his last year. And so I don't watch a lot of college basketball, but I would watch all of his games. Not all of his games, but I watched a lot of his games. And his senior year or whatever was at Baylor with VJ Edgecombe, freshman year at Baylor. And VJ was so nice, bro. He was so nice. Like, he wasn't that good of a college player, but he was so tough. And he's like that in the league. So it's pretty cool to see Jeremy Roach the GOAT. He's playing in Serbia or Spain or something right now. That kid's going to be a pro. Shout out to Jay Roach. Shout out Northern Virginia, man. All right. It's the weekend. I got a dinner with a famous famous finance influencer tonight. I'll tell you the story on Monday. I got a date next Wednesday, which I actually have to text her back. I'm about to go play basketball. Got pickup at Dom, thanks for the gifted, brother. I got pickup at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Life is awesome. I'm long pump fun. It's green. I'm long FWA. I'm in the red. And our life is awesome, man. We wake up and we stream and we fucking pay attention to the market. Dom, let me see a money spread, brother. My guy, 20 gifted. Size tongue. Size tongue. I'm running around. I'm telling everyone I will listen. Size tongue, bro. Size tongue, man. This is what I'm TTT, tongue. How do you pronounce this? I was calling it Shakur like Tupac. Size tongue, man. 20M. Size tongue, brother. Size tongue. Size that shit. I'm out. Have a good weekend. I love you. I will catch you when I catch you. I'll see you when I see you. Have a great rest of your day. It's not even my favorite Italian brain rock character. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.